Oh, all right, by all means.
So let's just stay on the concept of a war.
Yes.
That I think we all believe that it's something negative and something destructive, and we don't want to experience that in our lives. At least that's the way we feel.
Yes.
But if we want to go back and find that belief and
Yes.
change that belief
Yes.
in ourselves,
Yes.
that is not going to necessarily stop the wars, but
Oh,
it's
yes,
just...
yes. Eventually you will find, again, remember, it's not actually about changing others. It's about changing yourself. And when you change yourself sufficiently, you will then find that you have shifted yourself to a parallel reality that is in harmony with your new belief. And in that parallel reality will only be the people who believe as you do, and in that reality there will be no war. Now, it may appear from a physical point of view that the reason that happened is because, well, maybe some people died off and they're not there anymore to make war. Or maybe somehow they just disappeared, you don't know what happened to them, but they're not around anymore. Or maybe a natural disaster comes along and wipes them all out, so they're not there anymore. Or maybe they just decide one day that they're good and tired of war, and then they don't do it anymore. Many, many different ways can be created to make it appear as if they have changed, but what's actually happened is you have shifted yourself to a parallel reality where that's simply no longer in harmony with who you are. Does that make sense?
It does. So is there like a threshold that there needs to be enough of people feeling that way and changing those beliefs to...
Yes, and that's what the year 2012 is about. The year 2012 represents the threshold where when you cross that line, you will finally actually have slightly more positive energy on the earth than negative. And it will begin to snowball from that point forward. It will begin to accelerate from that point forward. You will finally have tipped the scale enough so that it will guarantee that from that point forward, and I'm not saying it will be the next day, but it will be relatively rapid from that point forward. Once you tip the scale from negative to positive in terms of the majority of the energy on the planet, then things can really accelerate. Because remember, it doesn't take as many positively oriented people for their energy to outweigh millions and millions of negatively oriented ones, because the positively oriented ones are integrational, whereas the negatively oriented ones work alone. You follow me? So it is exponentially expansive when you finally tip the scales on the positive side, and 2012 represents the threshold crossing when it will from that point forward be slightly more positive, and then that will allow you to accelerate your energy so that you will find that somewhere between the year of 2033 and 2050, war will be eliminated forever. All right?
Thank you.
Oh, I had nothing to do with it. It's your planet. Thank you.
Bashar, what do you
Yes.
mean by positive and negative energy? Can you expand on that, please?
Positive energy is that which integrates, unifies, makes whole. Negative energy, mechanically speaking, is simply that which segregates, separates, causes the idea of discordant vibration as opposed to harmonious, in alignment vibration. Does that make sense? It's just a mechanical description of the energy.
It does, but...
It's not the idea of good, bad, right, wrong. It's the idea that when you are acting in positive energy, you are harmoniously aligned with your true core self. When you are acting in negative energy, you are out of alignment with that and creating discord and separation, segregation, disconnection experiences, and forgetfulness.
So by definition,
Yes.
the energy that is negative
Yes.
cannot work
Together.
harmoniously with
Correct.
each other.
Correct.
And together.
Correct. It can be, in a sense, seemingly that there is a unification just because there are so many. And they may have a sort of general momentum, but they actually aren't working in unity. When they really start working in unity, they're actually creating a positive vibration. And that will shift the energy. Make sense?
It does, though. It seems as though,
Yes.
as you say, I guess it's probably the momentum, but
Yes.
if at least in my mind,
Yes.
the energy that creates war and
Yes.
fights would
Yes.
be a negative energy.
All right, but you must understand it from the people's perspective. As is often said of movie villains, no one thinks they're the villain. They think what they're doing is positive. I'm simply talking about an objective observation. They're not. They believe they're the heroes saving the day. That's the difference. People have to understand what energy they are actually using in order to divest themselves of that. If somebody doing something negative actually believes they're doing something positive, they can create unity with that. Because again, what does it come down to? Belief.
Okay, so if we take that to the next
Yes.
step,
Yes.
then there are always groups of people
Yes.
that are different from each other in terms
Yes.
of their belief.
Exactly.
And that's how they get into wars. And
No. That's not how. How they get into wars is what they believe about their differences. Not that they are different. It's what they believe about being different. That's the key. That's why what's so important to end war on your planet is to teach the children that differences are part of the recognition of the beauty of all that is and its diversification. Because all that is harmonious if it allows all its differences to be equally valid. The only way all that is could ever go out of balance is if it suddenly judged one of the aspects within itself that it's different from another to be less valid than that other. So it is the belief that a difference is less valid that creates the war, not the difference itself.
True. But again,
Yes.
if they believe and they
Yes.
are harmonious with that belief,
Yes.
that this difference needs to be fought out in a way.
Yes, but you have to find out, the way to do that is to find out why they believe that. When you get to the crux and the core of why they believe that, you will generally find that from a negative effect, the core belief will actually be one based on fear. And if it's based on fear, then yes, there is an underlying negative vibration that is creating them to think in a way of denial of that negativity, so they then believe they're positive because they are afraid to face the fear that they have at their core. When you find out that the core belief is negative and they can see that it's negative, then they can change their belief. That's why it's so important to instill these understandings in the children. Because for many adults, not all, but for many adults, they simply will refuse to look that deeply because they have no longer the will or the capacity to do so. They have been too scared for too long. Although, again, for some, once they become scared long enough, they can also give up that point of view. It just depends on what theme they're exploring. Do remember this, however. Do remember this. It's very important to remember. I am not in any way, shape, or form condoning the actions of anyone in any particular way. But the point is this: you really are all fundamentally eternal spirits. It's not that big of a deal. You always exist. You always will. If you go against the grain sometimes, well, all right. Maybe there's a kind of a sadness that you didn't see that coming, didn't learn this, didn't learn that time. A recognition that, oh, all right, I could have done things differently. But the point is you will always have the ability to recognize that, and you will always have the ability to bring that back into alignment. The big secret about all the things that are fundamental to all the different religions and faiths on your planet, the big secret is, the real truth is that everybody actually goes to heaven, no matter what. Everybody goes to heaven, no matter what. Hell is not a place you go to. It's a state you pass through on your way to heaven. That's all it is. Remember, darkness does not exist by itself. Darkness is not a thing unto itself. Darkness is just the absence of light. Cold is not a thing unto itself. It is just the absence of heat. Evil is not a thing unto itself. It is simply someone operating without feeling the connection to God. But that connection is always there, and that's all there is. Does that make sense?
It does very well, but what I don't understand is,
Yes.
again, when you mention the year 2012,
Yes.
and the tip of the scale toward positive energy
Yes.
as opposed to negative energy.
Yes.
Again, where I get lost is where, the way I understand it,
Yes.
if people who are at war with each other
Yes.
believe that they are not villains, then
Yes.
they are not villains, and they're working in harmony with their
Yes.
higher self or
Yes.
whatever, and therefore they're acting towards positive energy.
In their mind. They may not objectively be. I'm simply talking about the difference between an objective observation of what kind of energy they're actually using and what they may believe they're using.
Okay.
Yes,
So the test
objective
is,
matters.
The test is where it's coming from.
Yes.
Whether it's coming from fear
Or joy.
or joy.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes.
Just one more question, Bashar.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't know why I get so nervous, I forget.
Oh, all right.
Sorry.
Is that fun?
No?
Oh, all right.
I don't know. I'm sure it's not fun for you either.
Oh, everything is fun for us. We never are not having fun, ever. We do not do one thing any time in our lives that is not fun.
Nice. Nice.
Is that fun for you?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. At least if you're going to do something negative, do it fully.
Absolutely.
All right.
Now I remember
Yes.
my question.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. We thought maybe a little fun would get you back in the vibration
That's
where you would
right.
remember, you see?
Thank you.
Yes.
He knows me. Okay.
Yes.
You talked about how the negative energy, when we look back to fundamentally where it all springs from, is fear.
It is fear based on the belief that you are disconnected from the source. Yes.
Exactly. Now, if, let's say, what is happening right now in the world, and this
Yes.
is not, I'm just quoting from what I've read,
Yes.
or
Yes, yes, yes.
if to control the masses
Control the masses.
for greed and power,
Yes.
what is being injected into humanity is this belief that we are all here to just make it on our own, and everybody's my enemy, and
Yes.
and if
Yes.
everything is being controlled by these people who are injecting this into humanity.
These people being whom?
Okay, let's say Bush.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Blair.
about. I'm trying to get you to look at something from a different point of view.
Okay,
Who put that person in charge?
I don't know.
Of course you do. All of you did.
Yes, we did.
Yes, you did. There you go. These people is you. You want to make a difference?
Yes, how?
Spread the idea to the world that there is another way without expecting anyone to have to believe you. Demonstrate that there's another way. Behave that there's another way. Show by example that there's another world, another way. The idea is not to change the systems that exist. The idea is to create new systems that will replace the old ones when they crumble under their own weight.
Thank you. That was my next question. So it's not really living out of the system, or living somehow within the system
It is
differently.
creating a new system.
Creating it. Thank you.
So that then when people are searching for that new idea that represents the world they prefer to live in, people like yourself have created the new systems that they can find. And when enough people find the new systems, they will let the old systems go. And the people that want to hold on to the old systems will go with them. It's as simple as that. You're not trying to force a change on anything. Otherwise, all you're doing is the same tactics that you're complaining about from those people. Right. So be a different person. Behave a different way. Create a different thing. And then you will provide a foundation for a new idea that people can gravitate toward and can grow. And that growth will eventually, in a sense, replace the old system. But again, remember, what's actually happening is, by doing that, you're changing your frequency and actually shifting yourself through a series of parallel realities that are more and more and more and more closely representative of the parallel reality you prefer to exist in. And then one day you will simply find yourself in that reality. Now, you could have jumped over all the intervening steps, but then again, if the theme that you chose to explore is the creation of those steps, you will not. You will go through that process. But nevertheless, it's still the same thing that you're doing. You're still shifting from reality to reality. You're not changing the reality that was there. That reality is still there. That reality is still there. So, for example, we know that many of you now are becoming more aware of doing things that what you would call are environmentally sound. You are reducing pollution. You are finding alternative forms of energy. All right. But the world that is still highly polluted is still there. That earth still exists. You haven't changed a thing. You have created a new vibration in yourself that has shifted you to a world that is more harmoniously aligned with the idea of looking for alternate forms of energy that are non-polluting. That world already existed. You just changed your vibration and took yourself there with a bunch of your friends that were like-minded. You all agreed to shift to that reality because that's what you preferred. The old earth is still there. That earth has always been there. The earth you're heading toward is there now. They all coexist simultaneously. You are shifting your frequency. You are changing yourself. Make sense?
Yes.
Thank you.